He was sitting near a wall away from the railings. He did not dare to look down. He was just crying hard. He was blaming himself for everything. He was sobbing hard. Someone was trying to break the door, but he did not care at all. After a few seconds, someone broke the door, and the teacher with a few students came running. They looked here and there and saw Taehyung crying while sitting near the wall. He was hiccuping and shivering badly. Teacher ran toward him. Taehyung, what happened? He did not answer him. He was just crying, looking toward where Ryan stood a few minutes ago. The teacher shook him, making him come out of his trance. Taehyung, what happened? Tell me. He looked toward his teacher and again started crying. I didn't trust her. He kept saying the same word again and again, while his teacher was trying to calm him down. He was shivering badly. He knew Taehyung would never harm her as they were famous as soulmates. They were inseparable. The teacher always had to make them sit separately as they didn't pay attention to anything else when they were together. Taehyung, tell me, did you push her? He immediately shook his head while tears were still flowing from his eyes. I would never. She's so precious. She's my soulmate, Jet. He again started crying. Students were looking at him confused. He buried his face in his knees. Taehyung immediately looked at him. What do you mean? Didn't you say she's on her way to the city hospital? He felt hopeful. Without second thought, he stood and ran away. Taehyung, where are you? Taehyung reached the hospital as soon as he could. He ran toward the reception. A high school girl was brought here. He was unable to talk because of constant crying. Receptionist understood. She is in OP. He was in a critical condition. He could feel his body being numb. He ran toward the OP area where he spotted his homeroom teacher sitting on a bench. He walked toward him with shivering legs. Mr. Nam looked at him and immediately stood up, seeing his condition. Eyes puffy and red, lips trembling, body shivering as if he was dragging himself forcefully. Mr. Nam made him sit on the bench while holding him from his shoulders. Taehyung looked at his teacher as if he wanted to ask many things, but words were not coming out. Mr. Nam understood and shook his head. More tears welled up in his eyes, but he was giving no expressions. The doctors took her for immediate surgery. He was still sitting numb. Mr. Nam hugged him and patted his back. After a few minutes, the doctor came out of OP room. Both of them rushed toward him. We can't say anything right now. She's in really critical condition. It's still a miracle how she's holding till now, after falling from such height. Light sobs could be heard from Taehyung, but he was trying to stand still to hear the doctor. She is having internal bleeding. Also, she had a strong impact on her ribs and skull. Taehyung was about to fall when Mr. Nam held him, giving him support. Where is his family? The doctor asked. They are on their way. The doctor nodded before continuing. I did this to her. Both Mr. Nam and the doctor looked at him shocked. Mr. Nam covered his mouth immediately. He is in shock, doctor. We are investigating the matter, but he is that patient's friend. He did not push her. He justified him as he knew he didn't push her. The other teacher already informed him everything. Whatever, but call the police. It's serious. Yes, we already called, doctor. Please save that child. Please. We'll try, but be ready for the worst scenario. Mr. Nam made Taehyung sit on the bench. After a while, Ryan's parents come running toward their direction. What happened with my daughter, Mr. Nam? Why is she in hospital? Her mother asked, crying hard. She fell from rooftop. Ryan's mother started crying more and more. But how, Mr. Nam? Her father asked in low whisper, as if he was trying not to break down. Taehyung, Mr. Nam was silent, so he asked Taehyung, it's all because of me. Both of them looked at him shocked. He's blabbering nonsense in the incident. He didn't push her, but we still don't know what happened, that he's saying this continuously. Her parents knew Taehyung could never do such a thing, but they wanted to know everything. Was there anyone else? Ryan's father asked, who was also crying by now. I did this to her. He again repeated the same thing. Ryan's parents turned toward Mr. Nam, asking about Ryan's condition. Doctor is saying nothing. He sat and looked down. Ryan's mother sat on the bench crying hard while her husband was trying to calm her. How can they calm down when she's their only daughter? After an hour, a nurse was rushing out when they stopped her. How is my daughter? Ryan's father asked, stopping her. We are done with the minor surgeries. Her ribs are damaged. Now we are moving to the crucial part, brain surgery. Now excuse me, I have to blood as she lost so much blood. Taehyung was sitting there all numb but deep down praying for her and himself. After some time, the police came. We have investigated everything. She jumped by herself. Some students saw her and verified. How is that possible? She is really strong. She would never do that, Ryan's father said. Is it because of that incident? Did the Ryan mother added. Taehyung looked at them confused. No, we already captured all of them. I heard she was alone with a boy on there. That boy over there. So can we ask few questions from him? Taehyung was sitting all numb. Student, do you know anything? What incident, auntie? What happened? He didn't answer the investigator as his only focus was Ryan. I'm asking you something, student. He again asked but Taehyung did not answer him. Few days ago, she was walking back home from school when she felt someone was following her. She decided to walk toward the main road instead of walking in the alleys. She was about to exit the alley when someone put something on her mouth, which caused her to lose her senses. Do everything fast and then throw her in front of her house, and remember, don't touch her, or else you do know you'll get in trouble, a female said. Why do you care about her? A manly voice came. I don't care about her. I'm caring about you. I don't want you to get in trouble for this piece of. Do whatever you want. I just need videos and pictures. Ryan didn't completely lose her senses. She was just unable to move her body. She felt someone was dragging her somewhere. She wanted to protest but could not as her body was weak. She could feel someone was touching her. She tried to see what was happening but everything was blurry. Taehyung, is that you? Yep, the drug was playing with her mind. She felt him making her feel ticklish and she started giggling. Taehyung, stop, it's tickling. Stop, Tae, it's not right. Don't do it, please. Who are you? You are not him. She knew he was not Taehyung because he would never touch her like that. Even under the influence, she found out. He was going to proceed when police barged in with someone walking behind them. Whoever he was, he saved my daughter that day. She has already faced so much in the past and now this, her father said. Taehyung felt suffocated. He burst on her without knowing the full truth. He was hating himself. He blindly believed everything and didn't trust his best friend of 2 years. Deep down, he knew she couldn't do something like that, but he wasn't in his senses given the situation. But still, that doesn't justify his actions. He slowly started walking out from there. He walked out of the hospital. By now it was raining heavily, but he could not care less. He was walking aimlessly, remembering every single word he said to her, and how much hurt she was by hearing him calling her. I hurted her. He started crying hardly. Some were giving him weird looks while some were pitying him. After that he didn't know what happened because he blacked out. Taehyung woke up and sat up immediately. He woke up after 3 hours. He was having high fever because of crying non-stop for hours and also because of walking in the rain in cold weather. He looked at his hand and an IV drip was attached. He pulled it out and stood. Student, you need to lie down, nurse said, who just entered the room. You're having a high fever, student. Without listening to her, he ran out. He ran toward OP, but he saw someone else was sitting on the bench near OP. Fear was eating him out. He stopped a nurse who was walking out of OP. Where's the girl who was having surgery a few hours ago? Oh, her. Her surgery ended and she's in ICU. He felt relieved, which lasted only for a second. She is in coma. Doctor said it'll take time to wake up as she went through big surgery. He walked away from there. He wanted to see her. He saw Ryan's father standing out of the ICU while his wife was sitting with Ryan. They were visible through glass window. He walked toward him and stood beside him watching Ryan. Doctor said they don't know when she'll wake up. Her father said, looking at his daughter with so much pain. Won't you tell me what happened? Why she jumped? This time he looked at him and asked. Him was still standing silently, feeling ashamed of himself. I failed to protect my daughter. He started crying and Taehyung too was crying silently. I know everything that's happening in school. Her teacher told me, but she's so strong. Her father stopped gathering the courage to speak further. But he was consoling us that it's okay, that she's fine and nothing happened to her. Taehyung was listening silently, drowning more and more in guilt. So what happened that she decided to? I didn't believe her, Taehyung said while looking down. I addressed her with such words which I'm unable to say now. I'm sorry. I knew she's the most purest soul ever. I don't know what got into me that I pointed at her character. I'm sorry, I didn't know she would do this. Even if she did not, I should not have done that. I'm feeling ashamed of myself. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but please forgive me. But she told us everything. She said you believed her and was protecting her. Taehyung started sobbing now. Someone sent me some pictures which made me lose my mind. I'm sorry. He covered his face with his palms and started crying. Your guilt and saying sorry can't fix anything. He looked at his daughter with many tubes attached to her to keep her alive. But I can understand you as well. Anyone could have been deceived by a scenario created against her. He said, patting his back, hugging him. Anyone could have, but I wasn't anyone for her. She trusted me and I broke her trust. He was crying, hugging Ryan's father. She trusted me. He was repeating the same thing again and again. Ryan's father knew he could not blame him. He was just a kid in front of him. He could see his pain. Days passed and Ryan was still in a coma. Taehyung used to visit her every day. He woke up early just to meet her in the morning, and after finishing school he came to take care of her. He used to talk to her for hours, sharing how his day went and how much he missed her. He used to cry for hours, apologizing for his mistake, even confessing his love for her. With that, a year passed. Taehyung was about to graduate from high school now. You are so mad at me that you don't want to see my face. Then at least wake up for your parents. They miss you. I can't see them like this. Guilt is eating me away. It was evening. He came straight from school. Or fight with me. Beat me for calling you with such words. I know I don't deserve to sit here, but please wake up. He was still holding her hands, crying hard. I'll go away from you if you ask me to, but please wake up. She did not wake up. He stood up, walking away while crying. When are you gonna tell him? Ryan's mother entered her room. When I'm able to face him, Ryan said. She woke up. She woke up a week ago, but Taehyung didn't know. Ryan didn't know how to face him. Will she be able to forgive him? This was the question she kept asking herself even in her unconsciousness. But we can't keep lying to him. He'll find it eventually, her mother said on stool, which was beside her. I don't know, I just don't want to face him now. Can you ask him to stop coming here? So you woke up, Ryan flinched, seeing Taehyung standing on the doorframe. He ran toward her, holding her hand while crying hard. Thank God you woke up. I'm so happy. Are you feeling any pain? Are you okay now? Ryan just jerked his hand away. He did hear everything she said, but he ignored it in the joy of her waking up. Taehyung felt hurt, but he knew he deserved it. I know you don't want to see my face. It's okay, I'll go away. I also know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but please forgive me. He took his phone from the table and walked away. He was looking down all the time, hiding his tears, which did not go unnoticed by Ryan. Can't you forgive him? He's really guilty. Ryan looked at her mother. I almost lost my life, Mom. I know I should not blame him for this. I was just so weak at that time. Her mother could see she was hurting as well. I just can't forgive him, Mom. Taehyung was listening everything while standing outside the room. After a month, Ryan was discharged from the hospital. Taehyung graduated from high school and he got into a well-known university. He didn't want to, but his parents forced him. While Sana got expelled from school, she didn't receive any other punishment as she was still a high schooler. Ryan continued her studies in the same school. She decided to smack the head of anyone who would speak ill of her. She already sued everyone who spoke badly about her in the past, but they received only warning. She was strong indeed. Taehyung used to follow her secretly on the way to school or back home. He wanted to ensure her safety to avoid past incidents. He was scared. He thought Ryan didn't know, but she knew. She let him do it as she didn't want to talk to him, but one day she decided to confront him. Can't you stop it now? Stop bothering me now. Taehyung, who was hiding behind a tree, walked out while looking down like a scared cat. I just want to ensure that you are. She didn't let him complete his sentence. Ensure what? That where am? He could not bear hearing such words about her. Why, please don't say that. Why, didn't you say the same thing about me a year ago? He was silent. He was feeling guilty. He wanted her to slap him hard, but she was just ignoring him. Stop following me. I don't need your protection, she said and started walking away, but Taehyung still followed her till her school. Wine sighed and ignored him, walking toward her school. Another year passed. Wine also graduated from school. It was her graduation day. She was so happy taking pictures with her family and smiling ear to ear. On the other hand, Taehyung was looking at her, smiling widely, looking at her, being happy. Suddenly, Wine looked in his direction. He hid behind students, but Wine recognized him. Why are you here? To ruin my graduation? Wine was standing behind him, who was hiding behind students. I won't dare. I was just admiring your beauty from here. Yep, they started talking, but Wine taunting him and him answering by flirting with her. He knew she was warming up to him, so he was desperate to grab the chance. Wine was low-key loving it, but she scoffed and walked away. But Taehyung noticed the light crimson shade on her cheeks. He chuckled while seeing her walking away. Taehyung, come here, take our pictures. Wine's father said, who knew he was staring at his daughter for hours. Taehyung's eyes widened but still walked toward them. He took their pictures, and Wine's parents took Taehyung and Wine's pictures together forcefully. Wine's family and Taehyung's family were having dinner together to celebrate her graduation. Their family also prayed together. So I was saying, Wine's daughter has now graduated from school. Why don't we implement our plan? Taehyung's father said, confusing Taehyung. Why not? Wine's mother said, smiling widely while Wine was eating her dinner silently. What plan that? Taehyung asked, but his father only smiled at him. Mom, he asked his mother, we are planning to engage you both, then after graduation from university or whenever you want you can get married. Wine's mother said. What? Taehyung was hella shocked while their parents were laughing on his shocked face. Why, you don't want it? Wine's father teased him. Who said I don't want it? I mean, did you ask Wine? He looked toward Wine, who was still busy in eating her dinner. Food is priority. He looked at his father, but they were just smiling widely. Let me talk to her. He stood up and walked toward Wine, who was sitting in front of him. He held her hand and ran out from there while holding her hand tightly. Let me have my dinner, you idiot. He ran out on the terrace of the restaurant. What are they saying? He asked, holding her by her shoulder. Just what you heard. He immediately hugged her. Thanks for forgiving me. Wine was shocked on his sudden hug. Who said I forgave you? She said, pushing him a little away.